The sprinters are only, like they just run along. The managers run them. You saw the. Are you all from ThoughtWorks or from other companies? Other companies. So you saw the things that these guys have been doing on the board and all. I had the chance where ThoughtWorks was my competitor, actual competitor. The whole huge ThoughtWorks. Okay, and this was running the client in UK, Drainline, and I was in India for another company who was also, vendors for that company. And I was supposed to bring my team up to speed in Agile, so that because the client was feeling that the ThoughtWorks guys were way, ahead of everything. They were good. Obviously, Martin Fowler was there, and the whole company itself was pretty good. And it was a huge challenge. Every time the client would simply say, no, there's no communication. Your team does not know how to talk. And you would not believe it. I'm simply mentioning it as a joke. Okay. Uh, those people, when I asked one of my guys who had come from the site, I said, how do these guys actually manage? Because they can't even speak good English. And he said, this is how it works. They go to UK and then they learn English and then just start working and interact. I said, okay, great. That is probably the reason why the client is so, piqued about the communication aspect of the team. Yeah. So coming to the point, this corridor had the board on which there are some sticky notes. Did you notice that? Anybody? Okay. So what do you think it is? What did you notice about it? Some sticky notes, colorful notes.
That's a normal agile board.
Agile board, okay. So that's where the problem lies, the communication part, where things get a little bit disarrayed in terms of how we are communicating the status of the problem of the project or the team, or what are the problems that the team faces. And I got some anecdotes and a role play planned for you, so you better be awake. The agenda for my session is this: a brief introduction, as brief as possible, some entities that are involved in Scrum, the functional areas of those entities, the context before we start the role play. The role play, as much as possible, if I can finish my talk earlier, you'll have maximum time to do it. And yeah, there is something called IceGov 2017. It's a conference that is being proposed by the government of India for the Digital India movement, and it is supported by UNESCO. So most probably the outcome of this session, I'm sure you'll be associated with it. The outcome of this session, I'll be sharing it in that conference as a possibly an abstract for a poster or something. So the role play is pretty important. You'll probably be talking something new for Mr. Modi. Okay, so we absolutely let's do it, and see if it gets across to the presentation stage of the conference. In which case, we would all feel as if we've done something. The noise is coming from here, is it?
You can have it.
Okay. So that much is this. This presentation is not about Scrum. It is not to analyze how Scrum works, etc., etc. It is basically to find some new ways of doing a project for an organization or a department which has no knowledge about IT's way of working. What we are talking about is the government of India, right? Some departments. Okay. So hey, what you doing? What are you doing? No, he didn't. Yeah, yellow t-shirt. What are you doing? Now, what are you doing? Okay. No? Getting bugged. Okay, sorry, you didn't see the presentation, so I included you. I wanted you to be with us. So this is a very bugging question. The managers keep asking you. They sit on your head and ask, and it's like you sometimes you really feel lucky that you not turned into a murderer or something. That you not murdered your manager. How many of you are with me on this? Everybody agrees. Yeah, but there are managers, your managers around, why you're shy? Yeah. Okay, so basically this problem is a big thing that we want to get rid of in the industry, the software industry. My first job was in I mean, I started at 1989 and I had my own company and all. But my real job was when I went to a company and wanted to join the company and I went for an interview. He said, okay, cool, you run your own company, you've got so many softwares, you've got experience in C and .NET and whatnot. And he said, let's start. I said, okay, cool. I went there and he was a team lead. And in those days, the technical leads were like a pain. They will sit on your head, they'll even check how many times you pressed Control Z, that is undo. And they will check how many times you have probably written something and then rewritten something, etc. etc. at the end of the day. And one day, I could not last one day in that company. The next day I was out. They said, no way I can work in this kind of an environment. It is just not possible. You cannot, because I had already developed some 7, 6, 8 softwares in C and it has been presented to the public. The public has used it as a freeware, shareware in those days. So I was pretty, in my own space. Probably I thought I was one of the greatest developers in my time. But whether or not you do not have the capacity to take that, the keep the bugging thing on your neck and keeping on asking, what are you doing, what are you doing, what are you doing. So one of the problems that the Scrum method solves is just this. There is a 24-hour Scrum. This I just prepared for a quick introduction on Scrum for those who do not know it. A 24-hour Scrum, which is basically meant to orient the team to know how to look forward to the next day or to plan the activities for the 24 hours. So the Scrum every day that is conducted is for 15 minutes, where you all stand up and address each other and talk to each other. And believe it actually works. There was this guy I pulled up from the last year, 2015. I got this guy from this resource from the other team, and he was working in a traditional way or whatever way they were working in. And I put him through Kanban, which is another flavor of Agile. And in Kanban, you got some just 3 or 2 columns, which says that this is your current status, this is the items that are being done right now, and this is the done stage. If the doing stage has any items, you're not supposed to pick up new stories. And this product, you won't believe it, we did it, in fact, in less than 7 days. 7 days the product was out, one member. And he was surprised, he could not believe that he had done it. Because he was the only team member, and I was just guiding him. And he said, sir, this is fantastic, why don't we do it every time? I said, you talk to your manager and tell him. And he pulled out of the team and we come to the next project, to the other project. It is as effective as that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So the stand-up is when that itself was such an indication, that is itself is such an event. Standing up, I standing up in front of you, rather than the guy sitting down and asking, what are you doing, what did you do yesterday, like a teacher, asking the student. And he was surprised at that. How is this guy standing along with me and telling about what he is also done. So that is what your daily Scrum meeting is about. It puts all kinds of respect in the other team members also, and it effectively pulls everybody together. Uh, 3 words that I noted for myself yesterday that I wanted to tell you about. One is backlog, the word. 2 is process, that is the Scrum process. And 3 is 24 hour. Right, these are a little bit misleading for anybody who looks at this. This is obviously a copied slide. Okay, the image is copied from some website. Because we don't want to do it again and again. It is going to be done anyway the same way. And in all these slides, you'll find the same words, backlog, which is immediately misleading to anybody who sees this for the first time. They say, oh, okay, backlog means lots of work, I guess. So it puts them off in a different direction. And we're not talking about the technical guys who are actually working in Agile Scrum projects, but people who come from outside who want to adopt Scrum at a higher level, at the management level. They want to take the decision. But they get confused somewhere in these words. Scrum is not a process. Okay, it is a method. But somewhere down the line, everything goes like this. I went to MIT University, one of the favorite words that those people who wanted, one was doing PhD. Okay, this is. So, one of the favorite words was that Scrum is a technology, Agile is a technology. Right, and these are very these are very, very effective things that happen, because it changes the mindset of the person who is listening. So the person who is doing a PhD at that point, he's obviously going to get misled and write something else in her or his PhD thesis, which would throw the whole thing in a different light altogether. Right? A backlog, for instance, if it is not correctly elaborated and said that okay, this is something that is going to be understood by default by anybody, then it is likely to put everybody into some confusion. So we got to be very careful when we talk about certain terminologies that are being randomly thrown around. Okay, and one of the three of these are this backlog, 24-hour Scrum, which I've just cleared, and the process. Okay, so quickly to move on to the next slide, about the same thing. It says that the process is like this. Is there a better word that you can think of quickly so that I understand that you've understood something from the previous slide? Can we change this slide in some way and mention it in some other form rather than saying it as Scrum process? The central idea behind it. The Scrum process. Can we rename it to something else? If you are presenting this to management and asking your management to adopt Scrum for your company, alright, the guys are already deep into the traditional processes like ISO, ISMS, CMMI. Alright, they are going to obviously take it to that level and they are going to compare that with Scrum when we know that it is not so. So how are you going to differently project this? Can you think of any other word apart from Scrum process?
Cost savings.
The word itself. Cost savings is the benefits of it. I'm saying this word itself, instead of Scrum process, can we say something else? As something else. The model, the method, the cycle. Okay. The cycle is very is at the lower level of description. Something at the higher level, macro level. The method is fine. Methodology is fine. Okay. Then if the question is asked, what is agile methodology then? Okay, let's put it as something like Scrum is one of the agile methods of doing software development, right? And it has all these artifacts. You have a sprint planning meeting, you have a daily cycle where you kind of update your team with the latest progress in your project and your tasks. You have the product increment, which results in a release that is a workable component of that particular sprint or whatever you're working on, which goes into deployment. That which can effectively be called as a potentially shippable product, right? Which need not be an actual feature, it can be anything that can be deployed cleanly. A sprint review meeting and a sprint retrospective. I'm sure you understand these technologies, the review meeting, sprint review meeting, the sprint retrospective. Any questions? So we can just move on. Okay, and then the updation of the product backlog. Basically, this method is so compact that it is defined entities. That is, the roles are well defined. You have a Scrum Master, you have a product owner, and you have a team. These are basically the three components of Scrum, right? And within this method, these three entities are supposed to be influencing the progress of the project. Not anybody else, not the management, not a stakeholder, who could be customer also. But these three. The reason is that the product owner is acting on behalf of the customer and is a bridge between the customer and the team. Alright. The Scrum Master is basically looking after all the things for the team and the process, as in enabling the team through some requirements, clearing the hurdles that the team may be facing, and generally ensuring that things are being followed correctly. The daily Scrum meeting is being held. He also maintains the updates in the form of some data, which would later on be used as report to be done to the to his own management or to the product owner. The team is basically made of developers. Any chance if I say that there are no testers in the Scrum team, will I get away with that, or do you have any contentions? No testers. I don't like testers.
Scrum Masters are testers.
Scrum Masters. Oh, okay. No, that's not exactly what I wanted to say. When I said that I don't like testers, I meant in an agile team, you are supposed to be a multifunctional team. Developer is supposed to do a lot of testing. Okay, so it is not like a tester just sits back coolly and say, no, I'll only test. Not the developer saying that, no, I'll only write code. It doesn't work that way. So in that context, I said the testers are not there in a Scrum team. So does it make any sense for you? No QA, only developers. Huh? Does it make sense? See, yes. Okay. You contest it if you have it, if you have anything more. So the roles are like this. I put some data into it. I found something like this. So the team is probably a little less in terms of contributions because the responsibilities of the other entities seem to be more, depending upon the numbers I gave to the data. So the team seems to be having a little bit lesser responsibility or accountability to the other artifacts, to the other entities. Okay, between the product owner, the Scrum Master, and the rest of the team. You'd be probably surprised to know that DevOps evolved because of this feeling that I don't like testers. Not me, but generally. Okay, and there was a lot of problem when a client wants something and the IT team is not able to deliver the bandwidth for a network speed. This client says it's very slow, network is slow, and IT says, okay, we'll look into it. The team says, no, don't look into it. We want it now because the client is asking us. He's literally on our head. It is very slow. You can't have this kind of a speed. So we look into it. We've sent the request to the management. The executive director has to sign it and it has to come back. The next day, the team comes back again. No. The client is still, asking us this question. He's very angry. We want the speed to be increased. We are looking at it. It's coming back. The sign authority will come. 4 days it goes off. Finally, what happened was things blew up and DevOps came in. So first it was testers that the developers did not like. Then it was IT that they did not like. So it became developers plus operations also now in the same capacity within the team. Right, and further on moving on, we probably will not have more entities also. Probably the management will also not be there, which will be very good. That way then we can have this kind of a setup cleanly. So to put down the responsibilities in clear terms, manage the requirements, prioritization of the tasks in the product backlog, managing the release or planning the release, and communication and enabling the team with the customer. Those are primary responsibilities of a product owner. If you have more, please do mention it. For the Scrum Master to maintain the process, the artifacts that are there that hold Scrum together, remove the hurdles for the team, monitor and track progress, maybe create this sprint burn down chart or whatever, and improve the team's productivity by enabling different, techniques or introducing new engineering practices within the team. The team itself is only concerned with the sprint planning, where they pick up items from the product backlog, put it into the sprint backlog, and then identify what all they can do and what all they cannot do. Execute the tasks, estimate also, and perform the daily Scrum meeting where they get the daily updates. Right. The stakeholders right now have no responsibilities because once the sprint starts, everything is closed within the time box. Right. Any inputs would be anybody who can come up with something will be most welcome. So now I want to establish the context of this particular presentation, which is the Scrummer and the Sprinter. As I said, I have noticed the Scrummer usually are this part, and the Sprinters are nothing, just the sprint team, and those who enable the whole sprint to move forward. The Scrummers form all these items in the sense that they take care of these artifacts, they manage these flow and enable some kind of activity. So basically, when this is I'm not sure if I am able to clearly put across this idea of mine. What I'm saying is, scrummers and sprinters, the way that I'm saying it, is wrong. Okay, there is no such thing. You cannot do scrummers and sprinters. I was talking to, okay, that's beyond the point. Basically, you're not supposed to do Scrum in this way. You can't say that there is a Scrummer, there is a Sprinter, because it is a kind of a proprietary model, okay, which is part of Scrum Alliance. So if I propose to them that you should have a tool, I have a tool which is capable of giving different logins for different peoples, for different roles, and I'm calling them Scrummers and Sprinters, they'll probably say that is probably not, you're not doing Scrum. Okay, you cannot do Scrum 1.0 or Scrum 2.0. You have to call it by another name if you want. Right. But why I'm proposing it is because of the context that keeps floating away at many instances. People lose sense of what is going on in that sprint at many instances. Because there are so many things happening. Like I said, the IT, network bandwidth, that's a serious problem. It's not that the whole organization is doing Scrum. Scrum is only, a part of the organization's processes, many processes. It is a software development process. It exists within the company's organization's process, which could be ISO, which could be CMMI, it could be based on something else, Prince or something. So we have to make sure that this thing conforms to the outer model. And that is where the difficulty happens. Right? Because these are the only three people that are involved. The team, which is your organization, the Scrum Master, who is also part of the organization's employee, and the product owner. But beyond this, the organization is made up of the IT department, the accounts department, the finance department, the HR department, which also caters to leaves. And the majority of the problem also increases there because the client says, please follow my leave policy, my company's leave holiday policy. And your company says, HR says, no, we can't do that. How can we do that? It is a breach of the organization's policies. So the team wants to go home on Janmashtami, but they can't because the client does not have an holiday on the list. Right. So there are many small problems that are there that Scrum was never meant to address because what they had initially planned for was a model which would work in a co-located environment. And you cannot think about a country where there are 26 different languages and thousands of deities who have some festival every day almost, and you can have some guys who are very strict up on that day. They don't like vegetarian food, they don't like non-vegetarian food. They have to perform pujas on some days, and another guy has to perform namazes. He suddenly goes off in the middle of the night and goes, I want to do namaz. Don't mind, I'm just giving a simple statement. Okay? And it's very true. You've got to do 3 times namazes. What do? The team has to wait. So basically, the model was not meant for this kind of an environment. And so I saw this in many teams that this is a big problem. The establishing of context so that things are clearly addressed, problems are clearly demarcated. That this problem is that person's, is in that person's domain. I had a project manager in my team, and he had to go on a leave. And we had a policy that anybody who comes late for the stand-up would pay ₹50. Or anybody who gets a phone call in the middle of the stand-up, he pays 50. And we used to make good money. We had good dreams, 2,000, 3,000 rupees over a period of time, not exactly in 1 month. And we were doing XP, not Scrum. And so this guy missed out on 2 days and he forgot. Okay, and he came on time, but he forgot. He said, what are you doing? What is your task that day that we were discussing? Because he was a traditional project manager. And the team went, what? So we also had a good, culture, and they said, they all stood up. Something is wrong, buddy. And they came and stood up. Usually the manager comes and stands up on the guy. All of the team came and was standing like this. He did not understand what happened because he had forgotten totally the Scrum part. He still had that project management thing. And he said, what? There's something's wrong. And then he finally realized, oh, I should not have asked that question. I should have been there in the stand. So some things are really good, but benefits everybody. Okay, and this is where the problem is that people forget the context gets slips away. It moves into something else. So establishing the context is what Scrummers and Sprinters is about, where you have a role where the product owner or somebody who is interested in the budget can log in as a Scrummer and check out whether whether the budget is still on track or whether tasks are slipping. But again, having said that, we know that this is not part of Scrum. This is not what Scrum, as practiced by everybody else, actually do. This is something else. But still, if it gains popularity, many people, you must have noticed in LinkedIn, there are so many updates nowadays. Where there is one talk by, uh, who is that guy? Scrummer, one of the biggest Scrum exponents. Ken Schober. Okay. So he had also proposed a good point on LinkedIn, if you can search for it, on his blog, where people are questioning the importance of Scrum because they're saying that it is just being marketed as a certifying body. And David X also has mentioned something on these lines about SAFE. It's a bit of a controversy, so there's no point, there's no harm in my mentioning it here in open forum. It's there. You actually have to start asking questions. Actually have to contest, challenge these points. And one of the challenges that I am putting forth right now is that let's have scrummers and sprinters. Let's identify two different set of roles where people can log in and put in their time in the timekeeper, in the timesheet application, whatever it may be, and maybe a manager who wants to know the latest status of the project can log in with his own credentials and check out how the progress is happening, how it is going to affect his budget that he has planned for, and what is the release plan. Although he knows that the product owner is doing that, right? But still, because of these points that I've just said, that where people can slip easily and move into something else, maybe definition of roles in different contexts would make some sense. Okay, so I'm preparing you for the role play now. All right. You are going to be selecting the team who would be in charge of a project for which I was telling you about. Okay, and it is right from the beginning. Right from the beginning, there are no resources. You are supposed to be selecting the resources. You are supposed to be planning who all can be scrummers, what characteristics or what qualities they should have to put them as scrummers, and what qualities others should have to be part of the sprinter. Alright. So the scrummers, if you want to just make a mental note of these and of these functional areas, would be should have good analytical capabilities, good communication capabilities, which could be in negotiation skills as well, planning, and able to do budget also. Basically, you'll be having two teams, and you'll have to assess who is a scrummer and who is a sprinter when you get into the role play. The sprinters should have a technical prowess, which means that they should be capable of doing programming. But since it is quite possible that the domain that we are talking about need not be doing programming. They could simply be having some good knowledge of that particular domain, the domain that we are going to discuss. Okay, we will just keep one paper per row of people, and we'll take them as a team. Alright, 5, I think will be good. We will decide on which side will be the scrummer and which side will be the sprinter. Okay, depending upon how you find things of interest. If we are more than 5, can we just have 2 more papers? 2, 3. Pens. Just have one more paper here. Have you understood what you're supposed to do?
So why this paper?
Yeah. You're going to create a table like this, where you'll note down the features, the functional areas for which you are selecting the person as a scrummer. So if you are talking between yourselves, if you find somebody good on analysis, you say immediately say go to the scrummer. Another team, they talk between themselves, they find somebody, he is sent back to the scrummer pool and a sprinter to the sprinter pool. At the end of the role play, let's see how we have a scrummer and a sprinter, and then based on the functional areas that we have seen, let us evaluate and let me see if we have made the correct judgment in forming the team. Okay. So functional areas you already noticed. Scrummers should have these qualities, right? And sprinters should have these qualities. So that when you create a team, it will have definite scrummers and definite sprinters, not just anybody that a HR has hired. Clear? All right. The system to build is this. So obviously technical progress in this sense means knowledge of communication, technology like GPS and stuff like that. Sorry? No, you talk to this team, right, between yourself. You identify which can be a scrummer and which can be a sprinter based on the functional areas. Who has got knowledge about GPS, who is good in analysis, who is good in communication as a team. As soon as you made a decision, you put, say you go be a scrummer and he goes out of the team. Like if somebody notices that you are a good communicator, then say, okay, he can be a good scrummer. Immediately that decision should be made. Okay, it should not take too long. Is it? Okay. So it's a signaling system that is going to use satellite and GPS enabled client. A tracking mechanism to obtain the current position of a train at any given set of coordinates. Got it? So if you're looking for analysis in a person, then you should know, you should ask question as to what exactly does this mean. Right? So if you want to be in a certain position where you say that I do not want to be considered as a scrummer, you come out of the team and say that you do not want to be a scrummer, I want to be a sprinter. And if you want to be, if you don't want to be the either, then you just say no, I just don't want to be either, I just want to be an observer. Alright. So 2 minutes, decide this and let me know. At the end of it, we are going to collect the characteristic and put a weightage of it. For instance, if you are asking somebody and you selected somebody as a sprinter, okay, who's got a technical prowess, and when I ask that question as to what do you know about GPS or something, and depending on the response given, we will give a weightage to that table, saying that okay, this person has got this much weightage, so he has a potential to be a sprinter, right? Because the technical knowledge is good. And let's see how it comes out after we gather the whole total weight and the source rating. Now, the reason I put this to you is I want you to also start thinking in these lines. When you go back to your company and start hiring for your team, right? You guys are called to do interviews, technical interviews. So when you are asked to do something like this, then I want you to give weightages in these terms, where it precisely define the context in which you are hiring a person, not generally. Somebody is got a certificate, he is a BTech or BE or MTech or MCE, that is why he is eligible for an interview. So that is obviously not a criteria on which you are going to hire a person or interview a person. So why not give weightages in these terms, and then you get a clear cut context established on which basis you want to make that person part of the team. Okay. So this is the output that we are going to get for each scrummer and each sprinter. Out of this, that table, we'll get some results. The results will be the benefits, the feasibility, and the viability. What do we mean by this? We will say that the project benefits are these. Because we have discussed, it is like a kind of a meeting that we are having. where we are discussing the system as well as evolving the needs that the system is going to have of a team. Right? From this, I want you also to have a project set of project benefits. What are the benefits that this particular system is going to give? Who is it going to benefit? And what are the advantages of it? Plus something like this. You know, it says this project will be so effective in these terms. It will have a good impact. It will increase productivity of the trains. It will increase profits of the railways or whatever you think is the uh, outcome of such a system or benefit of such a system. That will we will consider as the viability and the feasibility of the system. Clear? Alright. Who does not want to be a scrummer? Who does not want to be a sprinter? Who just wants to be an observer? Decide. Okay, so next point, how do you want to ask these questions? Because there are two sets of teams. How are you going to evaluate who is a scrummer, who is a sprinter? Are you going to all talk together? You asking who, and they asking what.
Let people do a self-evaluation.
1 minute silence.
Let people do a self-evaluation.
That's all. 1 minute silence, evaluate oneself, and then start. Okay, 1 minute silence. In the meanwhile, if somebody has got a better suggestion, let's also have it. Let's not do things in a fixed way. That is where things go wrong.
We can talk as in a group.
You can
Talk as in a group.
within.
Yeah.
Talk quickly. Do that. They will do 1 minute.
The person should come out and say whether he wants to
Yeah. In a group, a person comes and he says what I want to do. And that's
He has
how
to
his
give.
personal opinion is out.
Alright, start. Because you know what you're talking about. I'm not sure whether they also know it. So if you know what you're talking about, come out with it and then you know what it is. Let's not take too much time.
You are also good in analysis, right?
So you take on the scrummers, you take on the sprinters. That's the idea. Right? From either team. Correct. That's how we are going to evaluate. You say, you talk to somebody, you don't know whether they're going to call themselves scrummer or sprinter, but you decide whether they can be a scrummer or a sprinter. Right? Make a note of it. Give them some point. Take their name or something. Right? Give them a quick mark. Then we'll have another last session where we can actually evaluate whether these guys are sprinters or scrummers. Yes. No, right now let's decide. Decide who is going to be a scrummer in your team, who is the sprinter, and then accordingly you can ask questions of each other. Are we ready? Ready? Basically, one team is going to ask the other team any questions on which to evaluate a particular set of persons. Are you there? Are you got? Are you working? Huh? Or just join some team and see how they are doing. Or just be an observer. Okay. 7 minutes. Okay, done. Time. Let's start. Team, face each other, please. Face each other. That team faces this team faces this team. Quickly evaluate the scrummer and sprinter. There also.
Like, should we make funny faces at each other? And
Evaluate just by saying
Okay, let's start, please. Scrummer, sprinter. Who is the scrummer? Who is the sprinter? Evaluate fast.
Okay, who's analytical? Raise your hands.
in our team, everyone wants to be.
That's anyway, maybe they're wrong. Evaluate from other side.
I self-evaluate as a Scrummer because I have already performed the job team lead and also what is being done for Scrum.
Okay. I'll also be doing Scrummer because I think I'm good at planning and analysis, and I don't know that much about the domain in which they're talking about, the GPS and.
Acha, I am permitted to make a joke there. Sometimes I also think I am Mark Zuckerberg. So that is the point that we are trying to address. Okay, that is your responsibility as well. He said, I think I am Scrum. Okay.
Quickly analyze it.
Now we play the role of sprinter, so we also think we can.
Okay, then ask some question because you have to give a weightage.
How good are you at the domain that is talking
Yes.
GPS and the related to railway and stuff?
Not so good.
So like, can you get up to speed on that very quickly so we can get it started?
Since the availability is on.
They're all
Yes, yes.
Since the available members are.
they're all just
Just ask. You don't have time. What?
No, what about others?
I already worked on GPS related.
anybody here has GPS related
So nobody has any GPS related.
He'll be our lead.
But what? Okay, so 5 people are sitting under the shade of one single person. Modi has got lots of money. Okay. Huh?
There's such a thing as lead sprinter.
No, we just
Does anyone worked on planning stages in perhaps not in work, but in college and stuff, symposiums and like planning, getting stuff ready for that? For what?
Food arrangements.
But that is mostly self-serve.
Ordering buffets.
Okay.
So you go first and you lead everything.
Then why do you say you're good at planning? That would be my guess.
I'm actually working on symposium right now, so trying to rein in everyone. So getting there, not exactly.
Okay, let's quickly make notes, dates, the points, who is a good scrummer, who is a good sprinter. Can you make a note of it? Take the names if you are impressed. Guys, have you got your other team? Have you evaluated the other team? Find them, catch them.
I'll just write all your names and put
If they do not evaluate you, you have not evaluated them. Okay, and vice versa. Please quickly.
You will never like this.
he's the only one who knows GPS, so all the project work is going to go to him.
So one guy is paid the salary, he shares the salary with all of the rest.
Then we start with.
Alright, let's discuss that. That is an important point. If you do not ask the questions, you will not know what are the benefits of the project. The second slide. You cannot fill that part.
So I have one more question. So how many of you have trained so most of this so maybe we can collect the details of the each and every train maybe. So what has been varies and other things.
There are a lot of questions.
So just it's so single line of right?
So basically you have to break up into like what we can do, what we can do now versus what we need for later for the needs.
I think we can collect the possibilities. Once we evaluate, we can come to a better solution.
Idea of how we can pick up the parts that you think started first. Like you can put the cost out, so that makes your you can't be spending towards number 6 months before.
Alright, I think we are probably out of time.
Because
Is that okay?
clients are going to say, no, I don't want this.
That's a bell, I think. Can you ring it? It is there. Just ring it once more. Yeah, I think we are running out of time. Alright, so let's collate whatever information you can give us and let's fill up the rest of the slides and see what are the viability or feasibility of coming out with something in this. Scrummers, anybody, can you just fill it up? Who are the scrummers that you have evaluated? Who are the scrummers you have evaluated? Write down the name and the points that you want to give quickly. We didn't take the names at all.
Yeah, we took the name.
Okay.
Talking about the points.
Weightage point on 1 to 10. How did you come to that point 1 to 10? Sprinters. Have you evaluated the sprinters? Have you written down the name of the sprinters? Have you even started?
No, sir.
Quickly, please.
Not evaluate anybody. If I do like 2-3 rounds, then I still don't.
Yeah? That's it. I think these two teams are the most involved. So, what are the benefits? Can you say? Give me the rating that you've given. What are the benefits of you are asking something about the system? Sprinter, only one sprinter.
Yeah, they're all observed.
So, who is the sprinter? Okay, can you come over so that you can come into the camera also. So you are a scrummer. Okay, fine. Scrummers from your team? Quickly, please. Scrummers, sprinter.
Nobody.
Nobody. Scrummers from your team? On. Can you please come? The sprinter? Any sprinters? Okay. From your teams? Scrummers? One scrummer, huh? Sprinter? All. Please, let's quickly come. That's it? Are we done? Huh? Alright, come, please. Only one scrummer. You are also scrummer. Sprinter, scrummers. Sprinters, scrummer. Quickly on the lines that we have to, can you just ask the questions as to how they can be a sprinter? You know the characteristics, right? You know what are the functional areas that they must address if they are sprinters. Can you ask some questions, please? Quickly. What would be the
GPS system? Like,
GPS
what
system?
kind of
Okay.
what's that?
The GPS works by a constellation of satellites that have very accurate clock. They know the position very accurately at any point in time.
They narrow down the GPS system that you can find a system to know what efficient. You have to pay them for usage.
Or you have to just pay for the chip. Signal is free. Everybody can access it.
How much it costs.
Comes, this is here we can hear.
I don't know. I can tell you how GPS works if you want.
What are the other what are layers you have? What are layers you have? Same.
Anybody here wants to ask any question? They are the sprinters. The technical prowess. programming, estimation skills. Okay. The signaling system needs a mechanism where it can obtain the position of trains at different points. How is it this? How is this information going to get transmitted to the client at different stations? How are you planning it?
Well, we can use already there's a lot of train systems have overhead electrical line. You can
Okay.
also attach certain signaling systems and cables, either fiber optic or electrical.
That goes all across 2000 kilometers per line.
That's one way to do it. We can also do wireless.
Yeah.
But then that will tell you what position it is. The wireless system will
Okay, as Scrummers, what are your plans for the second point, tracking mechanism? Has anybody thought of that? You're welcome to give your ideas. As a tracking mechanism, what is it that you've planned?
We can have it.
Cloud. What is that? No, you mean to say one train will then signal, will have thousands of signals because there will be thousands of passengers. Why? Why can't you have one single source from the train? So what is the problem? Is there a problem that you cannot do that? How can that be an override? I think it is a necessity, no? It is a functional requirement. You must have the hardware within the train itself. You cannot expect the passengers to provide the location benefits, location coordinates for the benefits of the system. Okay. Can you put so many people's time and life at risk over something that is there? Will Google Maps and API be able to give you the location of a train?
just to track that. You're gonna track that train, right?
So why are we going to track the train? Why are we going to track the train? You're not a scrummer. You dropped out, is it? You're not a scrummer. So why are you there? You're also a scrummer. Aha, the traditional scrummers cannot leave their seats. Come, sir, please come. So how are we going to what is this? Why are we tracking the trains? What is the benefit of doing that?
To know where the trains are running.
So why do we need to know?
The signaling system, you see whether that train can pass or not. Whether
Exactly. We want to reschedule. Probably we want to introduce new higher speed trains. And for that, we need to know the exact locations of each train so that they can be enabled for greater signaling, right?
Yeah.
That is the purpose of the system.
Yeah, currently we have trains that has to stop in a station and wait for the other
Train to
pass
pass.
probably
Okay.
an hour or so.
So what is the signaling system that you are proposing
The
does?
system actually calculates on its own according to the arrival of the train. It actually recalculates on the fly. And
What do you mean arrival of the train? Because there are so many trains running at the same time on the same tracks.
yes, so because, like any signaling where there's a crossing that happens, like right before that, which would be the train that would be most fit to cross that, which should be given the green signal to cross that signaling system.
No, this okay. This system is also supposed to be enabling newer high-speed trains to be planned. Right now, can you plan a train like a which can run at 260 kilometers per hour?
The track is
Okay, let's assume that the tracks are good. Assuming that the tracks are good, can you plan a train at 260 kilometers per hour running from Kashmir to Kanyakumari? What are the constraints?
other trains that pass by.
There are lots of slower trains. So if you get the coordinates from this particular system, will it help this planning better?
Yes.
Yes. So that is the project benefit. Okay. So how are you going to enable that?
We have real-time tracking of all the trains.
Okay.
A central database giving which line has which train at which position, and then if you have another train coming, a faster train coming on the same line, you can ideally plan the timing such that when there are parallel tracks, that's the point in which the faster train can overtake.
Okay, that's scary. Right. How are you going to implement it practically?
Like you'll have a database which gives which tracks in real time the position of a train along a particular
Do you
line.
have an algorithm right now that you can think of? Alright, can we keep this as an exercise for a subsequent Geek Night session where we think of an algorithm which can address the problems of multiple train track positions and give a calculation saying that okay, this train at this location will take this much time to arrive at this point, at which point another train is also likely to cross. So you need an algorithm which can calculate both and give out the difference, saying that this much time is available before this time this train arrives here, while this train also is at the same coordinate. Can we do this? Can we work on an algorithm? Anybody who would want can announce a session saying that we are going to follow up with this session and proposing a new algorithm. Can we do this? We have to present this paper to that conference before next month, mid of next month. Can we do it before that? Huh?
It should be.
But we have to work together. You collaborate first and then inform Arun whether we can do it. I'm sure if he has a slot, he will say okay for it, right? So that session will be saying that this is the algorithm by which we are going to calculate it, and this is the design of the system. The design is an actual blue paper where you can see the different GPS points, the different lines which are going to receive the signals, and your software which is going to calculate the difference in time of a particular train at a given location. That given location is always going to be real time. It is not like somebody feeds it in and then calculates it. It is all happening simultaneously. Correct. So it is something like planefinder.net. That is an application. It gives you the location of all the planes real lifetime, lifetime, real time. You can actually see the planes taking off and landing and everything happening. So something on that. So it has to be completely asynchronous. Everything. You have to maintain state there of each of the requests, where a train sends out its own coordinates to the central system receives it, identifies it, puts a tag that this is of this particular train, and between this time and this time, and the speed, and then gives out the response, and it has to go to the same train, and also to the client or all the clients that are in the train's path, the stations, signaling systems. They all have to be also receivers. So a broadcaster is a receiver. You already have a pattern already. I think you have a command pattern coming up here. Command pattern? The design pattern? Does it conform to it? Different commands? Maybe. Or you have an observer pattern also. There is an observer and there are subscribers. So you've got two design patterns already there. So maybe we can work on it. You guys can say that we can present it as a team if you're inclined to it. Or individually, if somebody can come up with an absolutely confident idea, then you can come together and have a presentation. And based on that, maybe we can take this forward into that conference and present it. Are we game for it? Shall we do it? So whoever is capable of taking it up as an interesting challenge can do it. That's a proposal. Yes. Yes. Okay. Two patterns come to my mind: command and observer. You guys, if you think of something else, do it, and I'll try to create a design of the system, and you can come up with an algorithm, and then we can take it forward. Shall we do it? Okay. Alright, let's put our comments in the Geek Night edition. Thanks for your participation. Thank you. Thanks.